Samuel and Aidan had been wed for nearly 2 decades. They crossed paths at their initial employment, where an instant connection sparked between them. Aidan approached Samuel with a proposal, and they sealed their commitment through marriage. Upon Samuel's pregnancy, he relinquished his professional duties. The initial gestation proved challenging for him, leading him to embrace maternity leave in order to raise their daughter. From that point forward, Samuel never returned to the workplace, much to his husband's delight. This decision allowed him to dedicate himself entirely to their household and children. Fortunately, he excelled at this role. Meanwhile, Aidan's career flourished effortlessly. He ascended the corporate ladder, ultimately securing a position as the company's appointed director. With his newfound success, he provided abundantly for his family, despite their children growing up and becoming self-sufficient. Their eldest daughter ventured overseas, establishing her own family, while their youngest son turned 19. Samuel became accustomed to his current lifestyle, steering clear of any employment endeavors. This newfound freedom allowed him to savor life to the utmost, indulging in various hobbies and athletic pursuits. Remarkably, he maintained a stunning appearance for his age. When he and his daughter showed up together, they were often mistaken for sisters, which naturally delighted the man. Their roomy apartment was right in the heart of the city, and in the summertime, Samuel liked to relocate to a cottage out in the countryside, where he could relish the natural surroundings and the crisp clean air. He even set up a small vegetable patch there to whip up fresh, light salads, and cultivated a flower garden simply because he adored flowers. His husband also enjoyed unwinding there, though he had to head back to the city for work. Samuel, on the other hand, stayed at the cottage round the clock. It was the height of summer, and Samuel, along with his husband, was enjoying a break at the dacha. That's when their son Ethan arrived, and he wasn't alone. He brought his buddy Wyatt. Both 19, they studied at the same place, had just wrapped up their exams, and were looking for some downtime. Typically, Ethan didn't aim to head out of town much. Having spent a lot of his childhood there, he'd grown weary of it. However, Wyatt had a different story. Living permanently amidst the concrete jungle, the idea of visiting a friend's well-equipped dacha in the countryside was too tempting to pass up. So he eagerly suggested they chill there for a week or two. When Samuel laid eyes on Wyatt, he was taken aback. Samuel had nearly forgotten the allure of youthful men. They brimmed with vitality, their grins wide, eyes sparkling with merriment, exuding an infectious energy. Despite the years, Samuel still held onto that same spark. However, decades alongside the same partner, whose vigor in romantic pursuits had notably dwindled, had somewhat dimmed his inner flame. It was a typical midweek day. With Aidan away at work, Samuel found himself on the porch, enjoying the crisp taste of homemade lemonade with his son and his pal. "Ethan, why didn't you bring your girlfriend along? It would have livened things up," he inquired. "Amelia's visiting her folks across the nation. Figured I'd just be in the way." "We'll reunite come autumn," his son answered casually. Shrugging off the remark, Samuel shifted his attention to his companion, Wyatt. "And what about you? Seeing anyone special?" he asked nonchalantly. "It's tough finding someone my age. It just hasn't clicked yet," Wyatt replied, sounding somewhat resigned. Suddenly, a piercing scream shattered the calm. "Mom! Mommy!" The shriek echoed in Samuel's ears, causing his head to whip back and forth like a pendulum. From the corner, Wyatt gave Samuel a look, his lips curling into a slightly mischievous grin. That look sent a shiver through him, stirring a wild mix of emotion. Could he possibly feel the same? He wondered to himself, heart pounding. "Oh, lighten up. I've met plenty of girls through the group," Ethan chuckled, playfully nudging his friend's shoulder. He chuckled, tossing sly glances towards Samuel. The blazing summer and the anticipation of a vacation only fueled Samuel's longing. What surprised him was that this desire seemed to grow stronger with age, unlike his husband, whose passion seemed to wane. Furthermore, his frequent work commitments kept him away from home. As if intentionally, Wyatt began spending more time shirtless in the yard, engaging in a daily routine of pull-ups and push-ups, catching the man's involuntary gaze. Every day, he found himself losing his mind. One scorching afternoon, Ethan had just finished his lunch and was overcome by an overwhelming desire for a nap. He retreated to his bedroom, leaving Samuel to realize that he had a solid 2 to 3 hours of tranquility ahead, for his son slept soundly, especially in the daytime. His husband was still at work, so Samuel took the opportunity to slip into a pair of shorts and a cropped t-shirt, topping off his ensemble with a Panama hat, before venturing outside. He laid a blanket next to the house, intending to read in the shade. The sweltering heat made him contemplate changing into his swimsuit. He often did so during the summer, as their property was shielded by a tall, impenetrable fence that ensured their privacy. However, the only thing holding him back was the presence of a guest in their home. Just as he finished the next chapter, Wyatt unexpectedly emerged and joined him outside. Dressed solely in his swim trunks, he had a clear intention of luxuriating under the warm sun. "Samuel, you're gonna get burned. Look what I got," the young man exclaimed, gesturing towards a bottle of sunscreen. "Let me slather some on you," he offered. Caught off guard, the man was torn. On the one hand, he was tempted by such a proposition, but on the other hand, he realized it would be utterly inappropriate. "Oh, come on," he uttered, and in that very moment, it became too late to backtrack. Wyatt got down to business. Samuel felt a delightful rush and savored the experience. When his hands ventured downwards, lingering on his thighs for an indecent amount of time, he knew he desired it to. It all unfolded right there on the street. They couldn't resist any longer. From that day forward, everything took a wild turn. They always waited for Ethan to doze off during his afternoon nap, seizing the opportunity to indulge in comfort. Samuel hadn't felt such pure joy in ages, but one day it all came crashing down. It wasn't that the guys returned to the city, no. It was that their love had become detached from reality and reckless. They sent Ethan off on his bicycle to a distant store on the other side of the village, while they secluded themselves in Samuel's bedroom. Midway through his journey, Ethan was struck by the sudden realization that he had left his wallet at home, utterly devoid of cash, and there certainly weren't any ATMs around. With a sigh, he made a U-turn and headed back. It dawned on him that his mother often placed some money on the nightstand. He decided to check there first. As he approached his room, a series of odd noises from inside halted his stream of thoughts. His father had been away for 2 days now. Only his mother and his buddy were supposed to be in the house. The truth of the situation hit him like a brick, freezing him in his tracks for a moment. Bursting through the bedroom door, he was confronted by the shocking scene. "What are you both thinking?" He roared at them. Samuel quickly snatched up a sheet for cover, while Wyatt desperately groped for his swim shorts. Consumed by betrayal, Ethan lunged at his once trusted friend and delivered a stinging slap across his face. He shot his mother a look filled with venom. "I'm going to spill the beans," he warned him fiercely. "Do you have any idea of the consequences?" He barked at him, trembling with rage and disbelief. The son dialed his father's number and, in a state of confusion, relayed the recent events that had taken place. An hour later, Aidan made his arrival. What followed was a tumultuous scene, filled with raised voices and profanity. The group of guys had no choice but to depart for the city. From that day forward, communication between them ceased to exist. Eventually, the couple divorced, engaging in a lengthy process of dividing their shared assets. Ethan no longer frequented his mother's company and instead began to establish a stronger bond with his father. He believed it was his duty to offer support. When Ethan shared every detail of the ordeal with his sister, she adamantly refused to comprehend their mother's actions. Being a person deeply rooted in familial values, she denounced such behavior. Samuel ventured forth into the realm of solitude, equipped with the substantial amount of money he had acquired through legal means. Nevertheless, he gradually embarked on a journey to acquire a new skill set and sought employment opportunities. The divorce weighed heavily on him, but he had spent nearly half of his life intertwined with Aidan and had developed a profound attachment to him. Nevertheless, he also saw the newfound freedom as an opportunity to explore different romantic connections without hindrance. Initially, he attempted to locate Wyatt, but it appeared as if he had vanished into thin air. This left Samuel feeling downtrodden, yet he swiftly found a substitute for him. The man underwent a complete transformation in his lifestyle, which caused those close to him to recoil in resistance, unable to accept the changes he had embraced.